Good afternoon, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11grinds. Here to take a look at the pitching for today, the 12th of June. It is Friday. We do have a 13-game main slate ahead of us this evening. There are a little bit of weather concerns on the East Coast. Nothing too alarming just yet, but it is something that we want to pay attention to. We do have 27 pitchers now with an opener to kind of look at. Honestly, I did try to look at this before I got started, and it is going to be interesting to get us down as far as a pitcher pool. There are a lot more pitchers viable than you might initially think. So, a reminder that this is considered a first look at the options on the slate. I do try to go more in depth for members over at DFS Army in my notes. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, with all that said and done, let's just take a look at the options that we have ahead of us, just to work with tonight. Slate starts in just under 3 hours, so let's get through this so we can dig into, the other guys that we want to consider and try to trim down. First game, San Diego, Baltimore. Shane Baz versus Griffin Canning. Shane Baz is a guy that I'm gonna consider playing. Got hurt by errors in his last start. He's definitely been much better over the last month than he was earlier this season. We know that San Diego's offense has been pretty rough this year, with most of them struggling mightily. At some point, I do expect them to wake up a little bit just because they do have so many veterans. But Shane Baz is somebody I'm considering. I think Baltimore is one of those possible rain spots, but generally we target offenses in this ballpark. Griffin Canning on the other side, somebody that I'm not interested in at all. Texas, Boston. Jack Leiter on the road is somebody that I don't play. He has just struggled a little bit more this season. I believe just in his entire career he's been worse on the road, but don't quote me on that for sure. He's coming off of a rough performance now. 2 starts ago he was phenomenal. He does have a couple of starts at double-digit strikeouts on the season. I have been using pitching against Boston, but still, I just don't think he's a great fit in this ballpark. Aside from those 10 strikeout games over the last month, he's got a high of 6 with a lot of walks. So that combination is just not something that interests me on a 13-game slate. Sonny Gray is somebody I'm considering. I'm going to put him along with Shane Baz as somebody that I'm considering but might not end up with. His strikeout numbers are kind of all over the place. You see a high of 9 over the last month and then a low of 2 just over a month. So he also only has 1 start since the middle of April where he's thrown over 80 pitches. That's something to pay attention to here. I'm not really sure why they're doing that, but they are. I think on paper the matchup isn't terrible for him, but he also isn't just a big hitter. He's not much of a K guy at this point, and he's allowing a few more base runners than we're used to seeing out of Sonny Gray. The one nice thing, obviously, is he's winning games, right? He's got the W in 5 out of his last 6 starts. Win points are definitely important. Maybe he's a better FanDuel play. I'm not really sure. But he's at least in consideration for me this evening. Detroit, Cleveland. Tanner Bybee is in my article that I dropped earlier today, the What Do We Win When We Win article. I'm going to save that for the members of DFS Army. If you want to join us, obviously there's going to be a link in the description below. You can check that out. Some of the other stuff that's behind the paywall as well. Flaherty on the other side. Somebody that I used recently. He looked really good against Seattle and then all of a sudden fell apart. I'm not getting there against Cleveland. It's not that I fear Cleveland. It's just that Flaherty on the road has been atrocious. His ERA at home has been bad, but a lot of his other numbers are really good, so he's kind of more been getting unlucky when pitching at home. His road numbers are just terrible. So I just have no desire to go to Flaherty, especially because we have so many options on this slate. Arizona, Cincinnati, two pitchers that I've used at times, two pitchers that I'm just not considering tonight in this ballpark. I do believe Lodolo has more upside than he's showing, but I need to see it at this point. Eduardo Rodriguez has had some solid performances, but Cincinnati does have some power against left-handed pitching. Just not a huge K guy. He does get a K boost a bit, but if some walks show up, home runs could follow. He's given up 3 home runs recently. Prior to that, had done a pretty good job of keeping the ball in the yard. I just don't think he has enough upside on a 13-game slate. Atlanta and the Mets. Nolan McClain is somebody that I am considering. Kind of put him in with Shane Baz and Sonny Gray right now. His last number of starts haven't been great. His last 2 have been solid, but walks are up, strikeouts are down. The one nice thing is he gets Atlanta without Acuna, but a majority of the lineup still is pretty dangerous for Atlanta. They are, top 3 or 4 yet in runs scored on the season. So I just don't know if I can get to McClain. He's at least in consideration for me. He does pitch better at home from a fantasy points perspective. K numbers are much stronger, but he does give up more runs. So obviously something to worry about. Strider is in my article from earlier today. Again, going to leave that for the members of DFS Army. But Strider hasn't looked great. 3 earned runs allowed in 4 straight starts. That's an issue. I'm kind of hoping he does return to vintage Strider at some point because he was so much fun to watch. Yankees, Blue Jays. Both pitchers are going to be playing for me. Toronto, we've seen them strike out a little bit more recently. They don't strike out a whole lot overall. Weathers has struggled the last couple from a home runs perspective. Toronto just does not hit enough home runs for me to be worried. They did hit 2 of them off him earlier. He did struggle a bit in that one. He did still strike out 7, but the nice thing is he's pitching on the road where he's been better than at home. From a fantasy point perspective, he still doesn't have a win on the road, which would make a huge difference, but Weathers is certainly somebody I am going to play. I understand there's volatility to him. He just has so much upside. Savage has been rough the last few starts. Gets the Yankee squad that he put up 32 fantasy points against over 3 weeks ago. The nice thing is obviously no Judge at this point. So I have to go back to Savage and hope that he turns it around a little bit. Walks have been an issue of late, especially 2 starts ago where he only allowed 2 hits, but he walked 7. Kind of hope for some bounce back. There's some Yankee upside from an offensive standpoint, just the way that he's been pitching recently. But I still like Savage and his upside. Brewers, Phillies. Phillies deciding to go with an opener, a lefty opener, which I guess I can understand a little bit because they're dealing with Yelich and Terang maybe. But Painter is not somebody I'm interested in tonight. Mizorowski, 12K, super expensive, but he hasn't had a start under 30 fantasy points since April. He has just 1 start under 19 fantasy points on the season. He's given up 1 earned run since April. He's just in play. Philly has power. Bryce Harper has a home run, I believe, off of Mizorowski. But there's plenty of swing and miss, so there's a lot of K upside for Mizorowski this evening. I'm going to gamble and pay 12K. I don't even think it's much of a gamble, but 12K is still a lot to ask for on DK, but still. He's going to be in my pool for sure. Dodgers, White Sox. Roki Sasaki. He's gone for 31 plus in 2 out of his last 4 starts. Is he starting to figure it out? He's 7 plus strikeouts in 3 out of his last 4. Maybe. The White Sox are a dangerous team, just from a power standpoint, etc. But without Murakami, I think they take enough of a hit that I think Sasaki just has to be in play again. I hate the idea of chasing this game here. 7 shutout innings with 10 strikeouts. I do kind of expect the strikeouts to kind of come back down a little bit. And he is pitching on the road where he has struggled. But I think Sasaki just has to be in play tonight. I'm not using Anthony K against the Dodgers. St. Louis and Minnesota. I can get that to show up here. Leahy, no thank you, even though I don't mind picking on the Twins much right now. But Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan pitching at home is much better than pitching on the road. His K numbers are super strong when pitching at home. Home run numbers are lower. Basically everything but his whip. He does give up a few more hits, I guess. But St. Louis, team that hasn't really allowed pitching to show a ton of upside overall. But I am such a believer in Joe Ryan pitching at home that I am going to go back to him in this spot. 2 earned runs or less in 8 of his last 9 starts. So I have no problem going with Joe Ryan. I think some people are going to fade him. I feel like he's probably a pretty good contrarian option to spend $10K on. Nobody really wants to spend $10K on him when you have $12K for Miz. But it just feels like one of those overlooked spots for me tonight. Imai and Avila, I have no interest in either pitcher. Imai's been all right. He is better on the road. Doesn't really give up many hits on the road, but I just don't think he's much of an option on a 13-game slate. Avila just doesn't show the strikeout upside as a starter. Walks are up. He isn't allowing a lot of hits, but still, again, just a spot I don't think he has enough upside for us. Tampa Bay, the Angels. Aldiguiri hasn't looked terrible, but I don't really know what to expect out of him. And Tampa Bay just doesn't strike out a whole lot, so I think I'm just going to end up passing. McClanahan on the other side, I am going to him. Strikeouts have kind of been down recently, or he's given up some runs, when he does have strikeouts. But we know that the Angels strike out a ton. He only struck out 3 against them 2 weeks ago, but it was a pretty solid start. If he adds a few more strikeouts to that line, we're looking at 20 to 25. The issue is like he's going to be topped out at 6 innings, and by the looks of it, most likely topped out at 5. That's an issue that I hate. With that said, I'm still going with him. He's worse on the road, but still, I am a firm believer in Shane McClanahan, and every start should push him closer to what he traditionally was, as he returns from the arm injuries. Gage Jump pitching in Las Vegas. He's made 6 starts in the minors in this ballpark this season, 3 really good ones and 3 really bad ones. Colorado is, arguably the weakest hitting team when they're on the road. Problem is this ballpark, rivals Coors. It's actually probably better for them to hit in than Coors. I'm considering Gage Jump. I'm going to be honest. I'm afraid, but I am going to consider him this evening. Last game in San Francisco, a ballpark that that I love taking pitching in, has 2 mediocre pitchers going. Landon Rupp started out the season phenomenally. He's come down to earth a little bit recently. His last start was against this Cubs team in Wrigley. So that's an issue for me because, I hate back-to-back starts against the same team. But it's a good ballpark to be pitching in. And, the team itself is not overly dangerous right now. I know they're coming out of Coors as well, so they come out of, a series in that ballpark to go to this ballpark. Makes him pretty viable for me. The other pitcher, Javier Assad, I think I am going to go there. He looked pretty good last time out, 72 pitches. It was against the same team. That's something that drives me nuts. But again, I'm going to bank on this ballpark being better. So I think Assad is the cheap guy that I am willing to play this evening. But, we just went through a bunch of these games, and there's like 13 to 15 pitchers that I would consider in consideration for tonight. So we have to try to find a way to trim those down. And that's kind of what we're going to spend the next hour doing over at DFS Army. So if you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly on an MLB package, or Best Ball 2026 gets you 20% off any NFL or VIP Core 4 membership. There will be a link to our merch store down below. You can check out my design, some of the other stuff we have to offer. Hit my comments. Let me know which borderline pitchers you're considering using. And as always, best of luck, everybody.